From the Dignity Health Studio at the Bakersfield Californian, this is the Renegade Report with Greg Kerr. Now, here's Greg Kerr.
Hello, I'm Greg Kerr, and no, I'm not. I'm Francis Mayer. I'm the Sports Information Director at Bakersfield College, and I am filling in for that most venerable of Kern County sports personalities, Mr. Kerr. He is the Dean of Local Sports. I'm more like the truant of local sports, but I'll do for today. The Renegades are coming off a big win in Citrus, and we're all feeling pretty high about that. But one of the most important parts of Renegade athletics is the history. It goes back almost a century. And we've got somebody in the studio today who told me when I tried to give him directions to another institution of Kern County, the Bakersfield Californian building here on I Street, that he had been here, I think the term you used, Bob, was many times before I was born. Our first guest is not just a Renegade, but he's also an Aggie, and he's also an important local business owner. Bob Hodel, welcome to the show.
And a driller.
And a driller. Well, there you go.
Okay.
Is there any important Kern County institution that you're not a member of?
Of course, yeah. Many.
Very good. So let's go back, way back, not to betray your age, but you've been around Renegade.
78, going 79.
Okay.
I'm not going to deny it. Okay.
He's almost 79. Now, take me back to when you first got involved in football, because you were kind of a late bloomer, weren't you?
Well, my beginning actually was in the Little League of Rosedale, Norris School, Fruitvale, Lerdo, Grammar School. I went to Greeley School, and my 7th and 8th grade, we played six-man touch, and we were undefeated my 7th and 8th grade. And so I love the game. And from there, I went BHS,
Right.
And I couldn't play football because I lived too far out from town. I lived on the corner of Nord and Wiggett. No, probably Nord and Brimhall. That's way out there.
Well, but then that was like the edges of civilization in Bakersfield. Now, of course, we're the urban sprawl captains of the world, but
A 12-mile ride to town.
Now, when you say ride, what do you mean?
Well, 12 miles from my house to downtown Bakersfield.
Were you riding a horse or a bike?
No. Riding a BHS school bus. Every hour. We had an hour drive from my home to high school. So I couldn't, I tried to go out for baseball one time, but it just didn't work. And I ran track one year, B class, but football was just, I had to watch from the stadium. I played in a driller band. That was my military experience, Colonel Wesley Moore. And that was a fabulous time, actually, being in the band at Bakersfield High.
Well, what instrument did you play?
Played trombone.
Front
Front row. We marched 2 years in the Rose Parade, and just had a lot of good experiences.
Okay, now somewhere along the line, you developed a fascination with the big show on the hill at Bakersfield College, and I've heard you and I have had many conversations before about the red uniforms and what those meant to you. Now, how did you find out that you would get to don the red and white of Bakersfield College?
Well, when I was in high school, of course, the Renegades, they were gods in red suits.
I love it. Every time I hear you say that.
I the names and the paper. Who was the Larry Press?
Of course.
Was the
Sports
big man?
legend.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yes.
and get mentioned by him was really the ultimate in sports in those days.
Wow.
But anyway, so I really had admiration for the college, and that's when the college was on the grounds at BHS. And by the way, my sister, who graduated 5 years ahead of me, she graduated from BHS with 1 year of BC under her belt.
Wow, so that was actually really convenient for people. You could
Yes,
actually
very,
take college
very
courses.
convenient, right, yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But after high school, I worked a year for my father, and then I decided, I had a girlfriend who said, I can't get serious until I get the Army behind you. So I went down the draft board, and I volunteered for the draft. In October, I went into the draft.
And
Army.
what year was this? Give us a little context.
1954.
Okay, so we were well involved with Korea at the time. I mean,
Right. Actually, it's a little bit past Korea.
Oh, okay.
55, actually.
History's not my strong suit, but
No,
I'm a
okay,
sports
yeah,
guy. Forgive
yeah,
me,
yeah.
please.
I am a Korean veteran,
Very good.
but I did serve my time in Germany.
Okay.
So, anyway, so during my tour in Germany, I wanted to play football, But, well, Bob, you've had no high school experience, so you can't play football in the Army. So the Army offered a 90-day early release to back to college. Well, I must say my background, so forth, I hadn't thought about college.
Bob, are you telling us you weren't a rocket scientist? We know
I
you are a
am
captain of
I am
commerce.
still not a rocket scientist.
Well, you've had a successful business
Yeah,
for many
no.
years, so there's something going on up there.
A lot of people wonder.
Okay.
But no, I went and I applied for my early release and went up to the college and I called Homer Beatty. I said, Mr. Beatty, can I come up for football? He said, sure. We're going to leave in 2 weeks for Kernville. They had a whole week of camp in that time. That was before, you could get meals, you could do that kind of a thing. And now if you blink wrong, well,
Or cough. You can't forget about
you
that.
can't cough, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
you'll be doing push-ups.
Anyway,
until
he
the sun
said,
comes down.
we're leaving. He said, by the way, Bob, where did you play in high school? I said, I didn't. Well, why don't you come out after we get back?
Oh, man.
So I went to a small park in town somewhere. I met a black fella named Curtis, and he taught me the three-point stance and a few things.
You didn't know a three-point stance
I didn't know
before
what a three-point stance was. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not football, and they got back, and I was a punching bag for the first few months. Learned.
But your mom was feeding you well
My mom was feeding me.
before she fed
You're
the
right.
county.
My mom was still feeding me. Yeah.
Yes.
Feeding me. We lived there on the corner of Wiggis and Roseville Highway.
Nice.
Anyway, I went out and I learned fundamentals, and I must have made a few good moves. I got into one game that year, and we scored twice.
Oh, wow.
But I was so tense and so tight. When you're tight and you run, you wear yourself out.
For sure.
And Jim Turner told me he was up at the BC on the end of the State Stadium, the big BC. And after 10 minutes, he said, pull Bob Hodell, he's ready to fall on his face. I was exhausted. Well, the following year, I was second team, and I believe we scrimmaged either Visalia or Reedley College. And there were three of us vying for the position. And we had a quarter to play. And during that quarter, I got to the quarterback 3 times.
Oh, nice. So
And-
you got him dirty.
Well, one time I got the ball out of his hand, I recovered a fumble.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, the next Monday morning, I come back, and Bob Odell's first team.
Did you get any ink from press for your 3 quarterback hurries or
I
your sacks?
can't say I did, but there's several things happened before that too. That in spring practice one time, I was playing special team, and I took a kickoff. I kind of stuttered a little bit with my feet, and I heard Homer yell, "Hodell, run!" This is flag football, and I took off. And I weaved my way through the whole team, and I scored a touchdown.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, just to there's some messages about your story that I specifically want to get out to some of our athletes. Later on in the show, we're going to have Garrett Brown, outstanding linebacker out of Frontier, and his former high school teammate Triton Douglas, also going to be on the show on our 4th segment. But now, did you go on to play football after BC?
Yes, we played in the Potato Bowl game in '57.
Okay.
And then, the short story is that I had to get a C in English 1A. I had to go through English XA, XB, get into 1A, which I had to get a C to go to Davis. And hey, I got a C minus.
That'll work.
I remember going to the mailbox. In those days, you had a little card.
Sure.
And you put your name on the card, give the teacher, and he would put your grade on the back of the card.
Oh, nice.
And I remember going back there, and boy, because I had really put my effort into a term paper during holidays, I was able to go on to Davis, and that was just I couldn't tell you in an hour all the lessons of life, the experiences I've had, being on a team, the give and take. Down at Davis and even Bakersfield, we went both ways. And so I recall one game right down in Occidental, I played every play on the field.
Well, now, let me ask you a question, because you have lived a life. Now, your mother used to cook for the school district, and then you started the family business, and you have run that business for now, I don't know, over 50 years. Is that right?
48.
48 years. Okay. And why is it that even though you've experienced all these things, a lot of famous people have come through and eaten at hotels, you fed dang near every other person in the county at one time or another at your restaurant, you had your experiences at Davis. Why is the Renegade experience so near and dear to your heart?
It's home, first of all. It's home. And the school itself just really gave me an awful lot. I mean, I recall Wally Jones, Econ 101. And he taught me about price and quantity, and that's been one of the foundations of being in business. You know, knowing the price and the quantity, the P's and Q's. And Wally,
is that what the P's and Q's are?
Yeah, price and quantity.
There you go, folks. You thought this was just a sports show? It's Econ 101 with Bob Hodel, local successful businessman. Carry on, Mr. Hodel.
Well, price goes up and quantity sales go down.
Sure.
So, and I had 21 units in chemistry. That just opens up all kinds of worlds to you. And so from there, and I had one little story about there was a speech teacher, and I signed up for the class, and being I am dyslexic. I'm a audio dyslexic, actually, so how I hear and process sounds and speak was a real challenge for me in those early days. And so anyway, she wanted me in her class. And you know what? I turned her down. I was afraid to go into the speech class. And I see now where, if I would have listened to her, I probably could have been a little more refined or whatever. But that was just one. Along the way, I had a lot of personal involvement with teachers. Stewart, English class, and composition, how to outline. Oh, that's a big one for me. I learned how to outline and make, read a story and condense it down to one or two sentences.
The essential parts.
Oh.
What I'm hearing from you is you went from being a boy with no experience to a guy who learned how to be a business owner and a man all up there at our Harvard on the Hill, Bakersfield College. And Mr. Hodel, just today you've told anybody who has a disability or maybe doesn't feel like they have the pedigree to succeed that you can do it right up there at Bakersfield College. And
Exactly.
I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. Your rice is good, but your character is better. Bob Hodel, thank you so much for being on the Renegade Report.
You're welcome.
I very much appreciate it. When we come back, he's got the headset, he's got the clipboard, and he's got another win under his belt. Bakersfield College football coach Jeff Chudy on the Renegade Report when we return.